Hey, just before we begin, I wanted to let you know that we have a free Advent guide available on my website. And by that, I mean we have an enormous, gorgeous, free, giant ebook thing if you want it. So it's something to help us ground our days in hope and love this Christmas season. So if that's something you want, go to katebowler.com/Advent and it's all yours. Sometimes we don't know exactly where our lives will take us. Okay, most of the time. But we can sort of feel ourselves through. We just hear a bit of someone singing our heart's dumb song, and suddenly our feet pick up the pace. It's strange and incredible when we have that feeling, or when other people know how to stir it in us. And, at least to me, that feeling always seems like a young self. The one kindled by a little bit of wonder. The one that thought, oh, what a great idea. I'd love to be curious. Or, I'm very, very interested now in this thing that my older self would have overlooked in favor of Instagram. So that's what I wondered if we could talk about today. That heart song feeling. And I just want to bring you back to a moment from my tiny baby self when I was absolutely in love with a television show host and musician named Fred Penner. Fred Penner is just Canadian gold. He had a television show, obviously called Fred Penner's Place, where he would show up in the woods and he would crawl through a log, and behold, he was somewhere very interesting, and he would sing songs with such gentleness on his guitar, and it made you feel like you, tiny you, were being loved into something, sung into something, or someone. Even if it was very, very silly, like his song, The Cat Came Back, which every Canadian child can sing, please quiz them on that. But what I didn't know was how much he was sung into being by some very tender moments in his childhood. He had a sister, Susie, living with Down syndrome, who loved music, and they loved it together. And when she died at 12 years old, that part of him wondered just where he was going to land. And then his dad died, whose alcohol dependency made all of this just so fraught and painful. And so what? What do we do when we want to stay soft and curious and kind? Fred Penner knows, and you are going to love him. For people who don't know, perhaps, that being a Penner is like being the Kevin Bacon of central Manitoba. They're just, I married a Penner, so already I immediately want to ask you about your family connection. Mennonite culture has such an incredible association with music. I mean, I have always thought that they have made a pact with Satan in exchange for the gift of 4-part harmony. And, yeah, being musical, it sounds like, was a huge part of your family culture.
Sure.
And sounds like your sister Susie in particular understood music as the language of the heart.
She certainly did that. I mean, my parents were into a wide variety of music. My mother would play the organ. She did, mostly hymns that she would play, and my father loved classical or orchestral music and opera. So I had this beautiful range of sound, and fortunately, my ear was well tuned to harmonies. So when I started listening to songs, from my generation, the folk era in the 60s plus, I could instantly harmonize with what I heard. And that, as you say, sell your soul to the devil for that value, for that ability.
My mom was a music professor at the University of Manitoba.
Oh, was she?
And Karen Jensen, and has a lovely mezzo-soprano. And And when we were little, we always used to be brought in front of the class, my sister and I, to do these little demonstrations for for music students. I mean, we did a really good version of "In the Bleak Midwinter." I would do the high part,
Oh, I
but
love that melody.
but the feeling like you could, someone would pick a key and then the magic would start is a
Yeah.
feeling that you can get even when you're so young. Like you're participating in this, like you flick the chord and it rings through the universe.
Yeah, the power of music is certainly not to be underestimated.
One of the things that unifies this community is an inherent understanding of the fragility of life. And
Mhm.
some people age into that terrible education, and some people have it from when they are very young. And it sounds like your family's story with Susie was such an early education in love and also and feeling the threat of loss on the horizon. I wondered if you could tell me about that.
When Susie was born, she had a severe heart murmur. She was called a blue baby because she had a hole in her heart that was, so blood was not being pumped and cleaned properly. And ultimately, it was not operable. They said when she was born that they could try and fix this hole in the heart, but it would be a 50-50 chance whether she would survive. And my parents said, no, that those odds aren't good enough for us. We will keep her. And actually, they're going back a little bit. When she was born, and they saw that she was Down syndrome, the doctors came to my parents and said, "Your child has Down syndrome. Do you want to keep her?" And knowing what that actually meant, what they were saying. Do you want to keep her? What are you gonna you gonna throw in the wastebasket? Are you that statement has stuck with me all these years. And they were quite upset with the doctors for even suggesting such a thing.
Mm.
But Susie, because of the heart murmur, they said, well, the prognosis is that she will live to puberty, around 12 years old. Once her body starts to go through the change, her bodily organs will not be able to grow accordingly because of the poor quality of her blood, and because it was not being purified, it was thickening, and so they gave her digitalis, which is a blood thinning agent. And but by the time exactly what they said, by the time she reached 12 years old, then everything shut down, and she died. We knew that was inevitable, but it was still, the shock when it happened, and I can pinpoint the moment that I found out and what my body went through feeling that. I was working for the city of Winnipeg, cutting the boulevards, cleaning the grass in springtime, and a police car pulls up to me. Immediately I start thinking, what what have I done? Did I I go through my thoughts of have I crossed the line somewhere and the police are coming to take me away. And then these two policemen came up and told me that Susie had died. And I remember, and I've heard this from other people, when they hear news of losing a loved one, you collapse. And my legs gave way, and I and I dropped to the ground. And then they took me home, and then the process of dealing with this as a family began.
Yes. To lose your dad and your sister in the same year. Imagine it was just a leveling. Like all the landmarks are gone.
Yeah, I mean, dad was alcoholic. as well, and he was ailing for many years. So that also was expected.
There's a lovely phrase, anticipatory grief, that someone gave me about the feeling like when you know the ending, like that someone will die young, or that somebody is, because of alcoholism or a disease or something, that there's finitude there.
Mm.
Do you think it felt like you had to have pre-worked through those feelings before it happened, or did it still feel like when it finally did, like you couldn't have known at all, you couldn't have pre-worked any of those feelings?
I don't think you can ever truly prepare for what you will feel when a loved one dies. And for me at 76 years old almost, I'm I'm closer to death than I am at anything else. I hope to be around for who knows how much longer, but I don't fear death. I really have no regrets in my life. I mean, things that I may have done differently along the way, but I've done the best I could with what I was given.
Yes. What a lovely thing to say, Fred. That's a rare. That sounds like a man who's really, really tried then. Yeah. Yes. I love that. When you dove into this new vocation, released from the. Tell me what your bachelor was in again?
Economics.
Economics. And you
Yeah.
decided music was the call of your heart. You had some wonderful musical experimentation and some absolute. So tell me, what genre did you pick? Tell me about the hilarity. You you went right for cornstalk too. Just I want to hear all about it.
It was clear in my brain that I did not want to be an economist, but I was not a great student. I didn't know what I could possibly do in this world. Being an economist with Central Mortgage and Housing Corporation just didn't seem to be the path that made the most sense for me. I was at literally a, a mortality crossroads of my life. I remember feeling that I need to find what my bliss is. What is it that makes me feel like I have something to offer to other people in this world? And music was the only thing that I had ever done that I remember having that value. The choirs that I'd sung in, the folk groups that I'd been part of in my high school years, and at university. So it was okay. Music is certainly important to me. How do I do this? Well, I play guitar. I auditioned for a couple of lounges and bars in Winnipeg. The Can Lounge at the Balmore Hotel that still exists, by the way.
Amazing.
I played there for $25 a night in
Amazing.
1972 or something. I was just so enamored is not the word, but uh, overwhelmed that I could get up on a stage, just interact with an audience, play some songs that I'd learned that were important to me for whatever reason, and the audience would respond. I thought that has got to be the most beautiful and purest form of expression possible, and away I went.
And away you went. That's exactly right.
When Al Simmons, the leader of Cornstalk, came into my life, actually a second time, we had been in Air Cadets together in our teen years,
Nice.
and then I called him up and we talked, and I was looking for a path, and so we started working together and completed our band with Mike Klim, formerly of the D Drifters, who was a Ukrainian band that toured with the Rusalka Dancers in Winnipeg, and with Bob King, the infamous Bob King, who wrote Sandwiches, and the second most requested song.
Fred, well, I'm so sorry to do this to you. Would you mind, for those of us not yet blessed with the song Sandwiches, just giving me a sense of what that song is? I won't be mad if you sing. Because sandwiches are beautiful. Sandwiches are fine. I love sandwiches.
Yeah, sandwiches are beautiful. Sandwiches are fine. I love sandwiches. I eat them all the time.
Yes.
I eat them for my supper, and I eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches,
I'd eat them all at once.
there you go. Okay.
And how good are you?
It's a duo. It's a duet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Fred, how is it that you are so good at that? You it's not just that you wanted to play music, you wanted to it's like you wanted to weave everybody into it at the same time. What made you immediately want to experiment and play around with participatory song?
Well, that was the key of folk music. I mean, just about every song that happened when I was, in my first prime in the 60s, all the songs were learn the chorus, learn the chorus, learn the chorus, learn the verse, sing, get ready to sing the chorus. Oh, I can't, and here it comes. Here it comes, it's just around the corner. And then you just fill the air with that music. And it's so, for me, it was so inspiring. I love that opportunity to raise my voice with other people, in a group. So when I did, those early lounge dates, that's what it was all about. It was those songs that I brought to the table.
Yes.
So with Cornstalk, we did, the participatory songs, but it was deeper than that because we were an improv group basically.
Yeah.
And we'd get on stage and we would start playing in the purest form of the word with the audience. And because Al was such a comic genius, is a comic genius, and still at it, but the music grew to that other level of comedy as well as the participation. So it was 4 years with those fellows of really fascinating experiences, and playing again with audiences on a different dimension. But ultimately it wasn't satisfying for me. Because it was crazy, crazy, and crazy. And let's have a little more. How about some more crazy? Let's go wacko on this one. Let's just go as far as we can in that direction. We did a 10-minute Sesame Street sketch, in the bars, and that was beautiful journey. But what I was still craving in me were songs that got deeper, that really energized an audience, that made them think for a moment, that weren't just fluff and fun, but had substance. So when I started writing my own songs, it was tunes that always went a little bit deeper, that weren't, the example that I often bring when I get into this level of conversation is the song called Collections. As many of my songs did, a similar sort of thematic path where collections is a universal topic because everybody has a collection of one thing or another. So with Collections, the first collection is rocks and shells and bottle caps, a bottle of foil or string. They didn't cost a penny, and I felt just like a king. Because those are things you find anywhere in there. Oh, look at that one. Look at this one. Oh, look at the shape of that. You feel that one. And then the second level is stamps and coins and stickers, stories, poems, and songs that open my imagination
Yeah.
to thoughts that make me strong.
Yeah.
So they're from simple to, oh, now this is what collections can do. They can
Yes.
go
Soulful.
into your spirit.
Oh, that's
And then
lovely.
the third
Yeah.
verse was, I can't show you the collection that means the most to me
Yeah.
because it's hidden deep inside where nobody can see. It comes from those who care for you. This collection has its start with the memories and the feelings and the pictures in your heart.
Hmm.
I mean, that poetry
Yeah.
is so strong for me, and that path
Yeah.
of 1, 2, and there's the
Yeah.
payoff.
And then the punch and then the heart punch.
Yeah, and many of my songs are a similar kind of direction. Proud is like that. Courage is like that. I mean, dozens try to go deep
Yes.
into that hitting the spirit, hitting the soul of the listener, and it's as much to the adult as it is to the child.
After college, I worked with kids for a bit, and I think that was my favorite. I think I'd finished some like philosophy degree, and I'd had many existential thoughts. And it turns out that working with kids is shockingly soulful because they will tell you exactly what they fear. They will tell you exactly what they love. They will worry with you. They will very much want to tell you their secrets.
Yeah.
It's almost like you just learn to live right side out again.
Yeah.
Instead of putting
Yeah.
all the good stuff on the inside where it's hidden, as you were describing.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting perspectives on childhood. I mean, it's defined. Children's personality is formed by the time they're 5, 6 years old. But if you are able to go into the perspective that a child has, it is pure, it is honest, it is absolutely the most beautiful thing in the world to hear the perspectives that come from a child. And the tragedy of the whole thing is that the child ultimately has to assimilate into being an adult.
Yes, that's right. That's how horrible. I totally agree.
And you're suddenly in this world
Yeah.
of complexity and how do you make a living, and how do you find someone that loves you and that you want to love? How do you do that with real honesty, and breaking down the barriers, and being the kind of pure spirit that you were as a child.
You had an amazing hit television show, Fred Penner's Place. You did 900 episodes, and I'm sure you get fan mail every second of every day about it. But there is a really distinct thing that you know how to do that I wish we all knew how to do, which is the simple and kind and direct way that you know how to speak to kids and the kid in our hearts. What are your I don't know how to say it this way, but like what almost like disciplines of speech did you start to take on in 900 episodes of learning to talk this way?
Yeah, the Fred Penner's Place experience was the best thing that could ever have happened for me, because it allowed me, back to the word of play, it allowed me to just be there and to play on, again, a fundamental level. The initial scripts that we did, the first season, oh golly, I think we did 60 episodes in 3 months.
No. You're like, I slept on air. How is that even possible?
Well, exactly. And the way that worked was there were a number of writers who put a script together, and these were all 15s at the beginning, and they would have very specific things, lines to say, but I could never do that. There's no way that I could memorize that. So I didn't follow strict lines until the last few seasons when the scripts were written in a different manner. And the critical thing for me in all the Fred Penner's Place world was knowing that that camera was going to one child. I was not talking to, who knows, I mean, hundreds, thousands of people all over North America, because it aired in the States for many years. But the attitude for me, when I was talking, when I was sharing, whatever I was sharing, whether it was the simplest little thing or a big song, it was looking at that camera as if that was one child I was communicating with. And that allowed my energy to, to come down, so that it's not like I'm projecting to a big audience.
No.
And that made a huge difference in I think my ability to communicate.
Looking back, what were the great themes of your show, do you think?
It's imagination, it's sharing, it's communication, it's understanding, it's compassion, it's respecting yourself, it's being a good person, it's opening up to the world around you, it's discovery, it's all of the values that we appreciate in our humanity, and just taking them down to, sometimes the simplest perspective,
Yeah.
the easiest little thing. I mean, there were some really beautiful moments in the course of the show that were heartfelt, and to the point of tears, and some of them were, it was just a absolutely awesome creative journey for me to write songs about these topics.
Do you have a favorite? I'd love to hear it.
I mean, the first one that sort of pops in is about discovery.
Uh-huh.
What are we going to search for? What are we going to find? Open up your eyes, don't leave anything behind. We'll know it when we see it, and we'll see it when we try to discover and identify. To discover and identify.
Oh my gosh,
So
man.
it's
You are bringing me back. I have been devoted devoted fan forever and ever. I watched
too
your
sweet.
show with my sister all the time, and so just picture tiny cross-legged me just glued, just developing vision problems. I'm sure I was 2 inches away from the television screen, just mooning mooning at you all. It's a beautiful kind of thing to feel loved through the screen when you're at such a tender little age, and you've been that person. You've really been that person to just a whole generation of kids who felt like you made the world very gentle and very, yeah, open to them to discover. What a gift you are.
Well, that's so kind of you to say that. Because I never knew, I never knew where any of this would go, obviously, and all I could do was present what I was thinking and feeling, again, to the best of I did the best I could with what I had,
Yeah.
to the best of my ability to do that. Essentially, what we do, what I do on a stage, is create a dialogue. And the dialogue is between me and the child, between me and the caregiver adult,
Yeah.
and then ultimately between the caregiver and the child. So it's a triangle, and and it's that pure in my mind. That's all that this is about. Creating an idea, a story, a song, and then on the way home, listening to it in the car, talking about it. What was your favorite part of the show? Oh, I love the cat came back. Okay, great. There, but it's that sensation that I felt this after every performance. I feel like I have gained something from the audience. There may have been a special needs child, in the autograph line, that touched me as Susie did. There's always something that happens in the course of a show that I can take away with me that, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed, I learned, I shared, you know, it's not, I never get tired of singing The Cat Came Back. I never get tired of singing Sandwiches,
Yes, and I
you
don't
know.
ever get tired of hearing them.
Yeah.
Fred, what a gift. Thank you so much for doing this with me today.
This was a lovely conversation. I really appreciate speaking with you. You're a gem, and what you're doing is really
Oh, thank you.
important.
Look, you might not be feeling exactly primed for wonder at this moment. The world has a way of just squeezing it out of us in heartache, in busyness, in just sheer adulthood. Is there poetry in taxes? Not really. So I thought maybe we could bless that part of you that needs to wake up to wonder again, especially if it's hard. How about that? Okay. I stand stone still at the edge of disheartenment. I have nothing but this certainty. Nothing changes, nothing lasts. I feel hollow. God, this world you made is full. Warm earth pushing up new seedlings, unfathomable oceans teeming with mystery, and the miracle that our clay bodies bear even the possibility of creating new life. We are all swimming in wonder, so God, why can't I feel it? I feel my own blood turning cold with each tiring loss. Good things, beautiful things, pried from my fingers, make them seem empty to me now. Still. Even if, today, I am sure that hope is not knocking at my door, let the lights at the neighbor's house glow like a jack-o'-lantern. Let the sounds wafting through the window, someone's barking dog and kids running amok, the buzz of someone's television rehearsing the day's calamities, remind me that we persist somehow, under a distant shadow, but happy anyway. Let the sun come down the sky and touch me, and I will walk out to greet it, feeling the low murmur of the ground beneath my feet. And as the earth makes its creaky turns toward night, let the day fall in behind us. What's next, we will say to the night sky, before we close the door and consider its answer tomorrow. Bless you, my loves. May this be a wondrous day.
Hi, this is Brendan from St. Louis, and I'm responding to the question from Instagram about, what song or what music makes you think about your childhood or, seasons of life being different and all that. And I'd have to say it's Riders on the Storm by The Doors. I still love The Doors to this day, and I've become, a musician on the side, and I still love to play The Doors music, both to listen to it and to play it on guitar. So listening to that takes me back to a place where, things seemed like they were simpler, less stressful, rainy days, and just hanging out with my dad and my parents. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this.
Hi, Kate. This is Laura calling from Nashville, Tennessee. Apparently, when I was really, really little, one of my favorite songs to have them play on the jukebox at the place where we would go eat pizza was Shake Your Booty.
Hi, my name's Trish DeBoer, calling from Steele, North Dakota, and I immediately thought of Joyride by Roxette. Hello, you fool, I love you. Come on, Joyride. I loved that song. My sister hated it, but whenever we were watching MTV, I wouldn't let her change it. Because loved it. Even today, when it comes across my Spotify, I jam out like nobody's business. Very fun. Thanks for the question.
A really special thank you to our generous partners who make this work possible. Lilly Endowment, the Duke Endowment, Duke Divinity School, and Leadership Education. And to my wonderful team, Jessica Ritchie, Harriet Putman, Gwen Higginbotham, Brenda Thompson, Keith Weston, Jeb, and Sammy. Thank you. And I would love to hear what you thought about this episode. Would you do me a favor and leave a review on Apple Podcasts? It really, really means a lot to us when we get to hear what we do well and also might even do better. You can also leave us a voicemail, and who knows, we might even be able to use your voice on the air. Call us at 919-322-8731. All right, lovelies, I'll talk to you next week. But in the meantime, come find me online at Kate C. Bowler. This is Everything Happens with me, Kate Bowler.